Somewhere in a wide patch of green, surrounded by thousands of identical leaves, there's one that's different. Most people would walk past it without ever knowing. But if you spot it, if you notice that tiny, unexpected detail, you're suddenly holding something the world has agreed is special. Not valuable in money, not powerful in any scientific sense, but lucky. That small difference is a fourth leaf on a clover. And for centuries, people have believed that finding one can change your fortune. But why are four-leaf clovers considered good luck in the first place? Where did that idea begin? And how did it spread across cultures and generations? That's exactly what we're uncovering today, right here, on History of Simple Things. The most straightforward reason four-leaf clovers are considered lucky is simple: they're rare. Most clovers belong to the species Trifolium repens, commonly known as white clover, and they naturally grow with three leaflets. A fourth leaflet appears because of a genetic mutation, sometimes influenced by environmental conditions. Estimates vary, but researchers often suggest that only about 1 in 5,000 clovers has four leaves, though the ratio can differ depending on location and growing conditions. Because they're uncommon, finding one feels significant. Humans have long associated rarity with value, and when something unusual appears in an otherwise ordinary field, it feels less like chance and more like destiny. The idea that four-leaf clovers bring luck is often traced back to the ancient Celts, who lived in parts of Europe, including Ireland, more than 2,000 years ago. According to later folklore, Celtic druids believed that four-leaf clovers had protective qualities and could ward off evil spirits. Carrying one was thought to offer spiritual protection and possibly even heightened awareness of danger. While direct written records from the druids themselves are limited, medieval sources and oral traditions preserve these associations. In cultures where nature was deeply tied to spirituality, an uncommon plant could easily take on symbolic meaning, especially if it stood out visually from the rest. Over time, symbolic meanings were assigned to each leaf of the four-leaf clover. A common interpretation is that the first leaf represents faith, the second hope, the third love, and the fourth luck. This framework appears in later Christian-influenced folklore rather than in early Celtic documentation. The three-leaf clover, often referred to as a shamrock, is closely associated with Ireland and traditionally linked to St. Patrick, who is said to have used it to explain the concept of the Holy Trinity. The four-leaf version, however, adds something beyond that original symbolism. The extra leaf naturally invited new meaning, and over time, it became the one associated with good fortune. The belief in four-leaf clovers gradually moved beyond Celtic regions and into broader European and North American culture. By the 19th century, they appeared in poetry, greeting cards, and decorative art. During periods of uncertainty such as wars and economic downturns, small symbols of hope gained popularity. The four-leaf clover was easy to recognize and reproduce, making it ideal for jewelry and printed materials. Its connection to Irish heritage also strengthened during waves of Irish immigration to countries like the United States, where cultural symbols were used to preserve identity. Over time, the clover shifted from a regional folk belief into a widely accepted symbol of luck. Modern botanical research has clarified how four-leaf clovers form. In white clover populations, leaflet number is influenced by genetics as well as environmental conditions such as temperature and soil quality. Certain recessive genetic traits increase the likelihood of producing extra leaflets. Plant breeders have even cultivated strains that reliably grow 4 or more leaves, proving that the phenomenon can be stabilized under controlled conditions. There have been documented cases of clovers with 5, 6, or even more leaflets, though each additional leaflet becomes progressively rarer. Understanding the biology behind the mutation does not diminish the sense of discovery people feel when they find one naturally growing in a field. The enduring power of the 4-leaf clover also lies in psychology. Humans are inclined to search for meaning in random events, especially when something rare occurs. If someone finds a 4-leaf clover and later experiences a positive outcome, it becomes easy to link the two events. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, the tendency to notice and remember information that supports an existing belief. Additionally, studies in behavioral psychology have shown that believing in a lucky charm can improve confidence and performance. When people feel supported by a symbol of good fortune, they often approach challenges with greater assurance. In that sense, the clover's influence may operate internally rather than externally. 4-leaf clovers are considered lucky because they sit at the intersection of rarity, folklore, religion, and human psychology. A simple genetic mutation in a common plant became layered with stories of protection and blessing. Those stories evolved over centuries, moving from ancient Celtic traditions into Christian symbolism and eventually into global popular culture. Today, the 4-leaf clover remains instantly recognizable as a symbol of good fortune. Whether someone views it as superstition, tradition, or simple coincidence, the act of finding one still feels meaningful. That meaning, shaped by history and reinforced by belief, is what keeps the legend alive, generation after generation. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.